everyone, welcome back to another episode of Green Life Garden and Home DIY channel. So I was in the kitchen making some fresh sauerkraut and just thought I would take a minute to go ahead and get this filmed for you guys. This is something that I do all the time. It's something that I eat a lot of because of the great beneficial bacteria that is in there that comes from the fermentation process. So I just wanted to show you this to show you how easy it is. All I've done is grated up a head of actually a half of head of cabbage. You can do purple, you can do green, and I took it and I grated it down to the core. You can see that's what it looked like after I got done with it. And once I grate it down to the core, I take and I add a tablespoon of salt for a large head, 2 tablespoons, or it depends on you, but for the most part a tablespoon is going to do me for this one. And I'm going to let that tablespoon start to release the juices in the cabbage. I can take and I'm going to go ahead and give this a good mix. You can take your hands and squeeze the juices out if you want, but I'm just going to use my spoon, and I let mine sit for a few hours so it can start releasing on its own. Or once you start packing it into your jar, it'll start releasing. That was a piece of green onion if you saw that. But the biggest thing is just getting it cut, grated, whatever size you want it, and add the salt, and that's going to automatically start to release the juice. Once that happens, I go ahead, I get a jar of some sort, as long as it's glass. It could be a mason jar. Let me get out this. It could be a mason jar like this, or it could be an old jar that you have used. It does not have to be anything in particular, as long as it's something with a top. And I will show you how I just pack it down in the jar, and I pack it until I see the juice release and sit above the cabbage, and then I go ahead and loosely put a lid on top so that it would be able to, be protected. Or you could put a piece of muslin cloth or just something to keep out anything that, could get in there. But that's it. Best probiotic I've ever had. I will show you what the rest of the process looks like, and I hope you give it a try. This is the jar that I used the last time, just the old jar that I had that had beets in it. And so what I'm going to use this time is going to be a glass jar. This one isn't exactly a mason jar. That liquid in there is a little bit of vinegar that I'm going to do a little rinse with, because I've already washed the jar. Just your 5% acidity vinegar. And do not add any here. You don't need it. It's going to do its own thing. And this is going to taste so good. Don't worry about the salt content. A lot of that you won't even taste once it's done. I usually leave mine on the counter about 4 days, and that is pickled enough for me, and has a good fermentation process going on. You'll see the bubbling inside of your jar, and that's it. So I am going to kind of show you. It's got a really rich, deep, purplish looking reddish color once it's done fermenting, and it's so good. Not really crunchy, but just a real good pickle taste. Okay, once you think that it has released enough of the juices, go ahead and start scooping it out and putting it into your jar. I'm going to go ahead and get that finished, and I'll show you what it looks like. This is the salt that I used. Okay, so all I'm doing now is taking my grinding stone, pressing down. As you can see, it has released enough juices that it is above the cabbage. And all I'm going to do now is put a top on that is made out of plastic. because we know how salt reacts to metal. And I'm going to let that sit right here on the counter for about 4 days. And after that, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, do let me know. And I'll see you on the next video. One love.